Oh, mic testing, mic testing. Looks pretty good. What's going on, y'all? We're going to be starting here in just momentarily. Give me about 2 or 3 minutes here. Oh, man. What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday. Well, for some things it's not. But what's cracking? Welcome back. I am Z Rex. This is No Noiz. We are live today on March 13th of 2023. It's a very late show. Sorry about that. The schedule with my son's a little bit off because of spring break, but that's all good. Better late than never. And plenty to talk about today. Just all kinds of crazy price action and things popping off over the last few days. I'm sure y'all have heard about it. Banking issues galore. Is this just a couple one-off banks, or is this going to be a big contagion issue that's just showing how weak these banks are with 5% interest rates? We won't know yet, but I'm thinking the latter there. When you got free money, or the heroin analogy, given all the 0% interest rates to these banks for 10 years straight, and then you go to 5%, it's pretty brutal, man. Bonds are just getting killed. And to be fair, they've been in a bull market since like the 80s. So, yeah, this is it's very interesting times, that's for sure. No shortage of entertainment in the financial world. I hope you have lots of popcorn in the cupboard. In the cupboard, man, I haven't said that word in a long time. Anyway, hope y'all been awesome. Let's get into some price action here. And holy moly, look at Bitcoin coming down to test right around 20K. It did a very nice hammer candle on Friday, which ended up transpiring also up to the weekly, which we were mentioning actually on Friday's stream. If the weekly for spot price could come up and close back above the 21 and above structure, it would look very sexy. That is indeed exactly what we got on Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I haven't looked at all the altcoins yet, so I have to go through some of that. Yes, we didn't get it on Litecoin, but we did get it on Mama Bear and Unicorn Shirt Man. So pretty impressive move there by the bulls in crypto. Is this? I was thinking about this last night, and depending how long you've been in crypto, there was a time in 2013 up into 14 when Cyprus happened, when they did haircuts and lots of bank runs over there. in the Cypriot nation, and Bitcoin rallied like 5 or 10x if I recall correctly. Let's go look real quick. Let's see. We got to go way back in time here. Yeah, it was this pump right here. Actually, it was pretty. It was this. It was like pretty much this entire pump. So we did right off when it started getting crazy with bank runs and just. I think what was it, like a 30% haircut like everybody took in their savings accounts just to like keep the bank safe. So crazy that they do that and people still keep the vast majority of their money in one bank. I know my dad's like that. I'm like, I've been telling him for the last 5 years, dude, diversify your money into different financial institutions. It is very stupid to have all your money in one. It's like, do you just invest all in one thing? No, you shouldn't invest all your money in one bank. What if it goes under? What if you had all your money in SVB right now? That would suck. And the Fed only insures $250,000. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, oh, thanks. That's so awesome. It's like, so on the backs of all that kind of action, with banks not giving a shit, and also with this Cyprus thing that happened back in the day where the bank runs were becoming pretty rampant over there, and then the haircuts, it seemed like people opted in to go try something new like crypto, where it doesn't close. There is no bank runs. It's open all the time. Now, yes, of course, there's scams and all that kind of shit. There's scams and everything. Scammers be scamming. But it's just interesting that there was like almost like a flight to semi-safety is what it provided then. Crypto hasn't really done that in a long time. It's been mostly just trading with lockstep with the markets. But I was thinking last night, I was like, man, so the stable coins, Coinbase announced over the weekend they had a bunch of money at Signature and the other banks, whatever. And so did Paxos, big stablecoin issuer. And, apparently they're able to get their money out and whatever. As of now, it's literally only the second day of all this happening, like second business day. But I was kind of thinking, what if people, like all the stable coins, and people start leaving stable coins to go back into Bitcoin and the majors, Ethereum, stuff like that, which actually would give them being the coins, Ethereum and Bitcoin, a very good chance of success to rally, very good rally potential. Because as everybody comes out of stable coins, they have to go somewhere. And it's not always super easy to go directly to cash in a bank. And also, people are kind of being a little bit scared of that right now. There's a lot of pictures over the weekend of lines already forming on Saturday. I'm sure there'll be a lot more popping up as today goes on and progresses of people just waiting in line to get their money out, which I don't blame them. I wouldn't keep a lot of money in a major bank anyway because they don't give a F, man. I don't know why people still trust like Wells Fargo and stuff. I mean, how many fraudulent accounts did they create and overcharging, minorities and for fees? And I mean, they've gotten caught in so much dirt in the last 10 years, and people are still like, oh, it's Wells Fargo. They're great. They've been around forever. They could never go under. Yeah, just like Lehman Brothers, right? Or Silicon Valley Bank. I don't think that bank's been around that long, but still, you just never know when banks get too greedy and over leveraged. And in this current environment where the rates are going up and the bond issues and all this stuff, I mean, there's a lot of exposure. And maybe this was just it. Maybe the Fed will be able to backstop it and it'll be fine and whatever. But I don't know, man. Something tells me we're not done with this. It almost seems like the first few innings of this debacle of contagion or whatever the hell you want to label it. It's not really a black swan because people have been kind of talking about this for a while. So that something crazy was going to happen when you keep raising these rates. And then we've talked about the bonds all expiring in the next, 12 to 18 months. I mean, there's just so much stuff that's happening in the next 2 years. You got the elections coming up. I mean, it's just lots of crazy town. We're probably going to just get lots of big whipsaw moves. All right. Anyway, just wanted to kind of share my thoughts on that situation in Bitcoin. and crypto specific, like as a whole, having the potential to actually break out here and maybe even break some correlations to the normie markets, which you can see. Again, oddly enough, NASDAQ is still above 12K as Russell's still kind of selling off a little bit, although not as bad as last week, only 1.5%, but still pretty brutal moves. We'll get to that in a minute. I mean, it's moving, 20, 50 points just up and down every couple hours. It's a lot. VIX is still just chilling around 27, which is surprising. I thought that would be over 80. And just real quick, the VIX chart, man, you can't. People that talk shit about TA, I just don't understand why. I know it's semi-new-ish, like mainstream. Japanese candlesticks have been around for a long time, but just the idea of using technical analysis to do trading is, new-ish, and it's super. It just really helps put things into perspective in the price, and also helps you not have to look at so many damn news articles and all that garbage when this shit is all baked into the price. I was actually having a little bit of argument with my buddy this morning about that, about crypto, and it basing and just looks like it was kind of retesting the breakout zones or whatever, and that this is probably a really good area for DCAing and entering positions. In my opinion, of course, I'm just some jackass or whatever on the interwebs, one of a million bazillion. But anyway, who would have thought that this was gonna just pump really hard? I didn't think we would get this big of a move that fast, but I was loading up a little bit over the weekend, which we had talked about on Friday. Just because, when you come to major support areas, especially on a retest, like, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, it's like that with anything that's tradable, too. It's like, it's all the same, even with the VIX, I mean, like we mentioned on the show, and the VIX was coming back over here in earlier March. That first week of March, is like, man, is this just making another higher low to get ready to pop again? And one day it just took out all the EMAs and the box, and then it just kept running. VVIX mentioned when it gets above 100, it's watch out mode. I mean, it's still running now. It popped up to about 127. So, I mean, as long as it's above 100, you just have to be a little bit cautious of crazy outlier moves. And so TA is just so useful. I just don't understand why people still talk shit about it. Maybe it's because they don't know or understand how to read charts and stuff. I guess if you're ignorant, you might just be like, oh yeah, that tea leaf crap. Anyway, enough ranting. Let's go to direct price action in the TA. Let's see what it's telling us. We got that lovely off the 200, off of the trend line here, off of the weekly 200. All this crosses over here, the mama, like we were discussing on Friday. I mean, there was just so much support right here. And this is about the best reaction that the bulls could have done from the week's close there. Very nice, very strong price action. So this actually ratchets my, before I was kind of talking about 18, 19,000-ish around there. With this reaction right here, I'm actually ratcheting up my stop or pivot point for being a little bit more bearish to about 21,000 now. The 21,000 handle. And, like we've shared this chart here. Let's just go pull it up real quick, And the hash ribbons also agree with this. We've shared this a couple of times. On the buy signals, it's done it right at 21K. And it also did another buy signal back over here in the summer, August, at 21K as well. And then we're getting kind of all this confluence. I mean, this is starting to look pretty good for building a base around 21,000. So as long as we're kind of hovering above there on the dailies, I don't have any reason to really question the bull strength. I do have to give them quite a bit of credit for being able to print this candle yesterday. I do think that that's pretty damn sexy. Still, while this does look good and better, there's still the major resistance at about 25,000. And what we really need to see is an open and close on a weekly basis above this little cluster, which is about 24 and a half. So you can see here the weeklies are right at about 24.2. So if we get an open and close on a weekly candle, which is still going to take at least another week because this open is way down here, so it cannot be this week. So it'll probably run into, the end of the month, maybe right at the beginning of April. But if we can get an open and close above 25K, and we are attempting to break the mama right here too, which is super critical. I mean, that does not happen often. You can kind of look at the purple line here. It doesn't play and cross it very, very much. Every probably year-ish or so. Kind of depending. Sometimes it's way more. Like back here, it crossed in fall of 2015 and didn't cross until May of 2018. But that was a mega bull trend there. So usually I'd say it's about once a year-ish on average. And so we're attempting to cross this, man. This is starting to look pretty sexy for bulls. Sub 21, I'll have to change my tune a little bit on that at this point. But right now, building up pretty nice. Cannot be mad about that. Of course, there is a gap here. Look at this. I mean, also on this too, man. The gap gets filled to the freaking tick, man. Look at this shit. To the tick, it gets filled to the body here, to the tail, and then that was it. Now, we did create another gap right around here at about 20,300 or so. So we do have another gap that will probably get filled at some point on the futures chart. But you can see we are getting a little bit of resistance here again at 24K. So even though we got this massive 20-something% move just today alone, let's actually zoom in. See, most of that was what? Just on the open, it looks like. Oh, no, it was pretty much from 1 o'clock last night. Just saying, suck it. Let's go. Very nice. So from about midnight last night, Central Standard Time, it's just been Pump Fest 3000. Let's zoom in just a tad one more time. I want to look at the 458 here. Oh, man. All right. So this is pretty dominant. This is also supporting that 21,000 handle. We'll see. This is going to be real important, the reaction from up here, because this is straight up. If we get any follow through, man, and start getting comfy above 25K, probably even on like the 8-hour candle, probably is going to bode very well for the bulls here. Pretty interesting price action. Ethereum showing the same thing. Hammer candle off the 200. Hammer candle tail off the mama, off the 200. Closes above all the structure. I mean, and this is a kind of argument with my buddies. Like, oh, I can't buy crypto right now. I need to wait a little bit. And he didn't want to buy any over the weekend. And I was just like, man, we're getting the structure building out pretty well. And especially with that weekly close last night, I mean, that's a powerful close for sure. I mean, so this is really solidifying that 1580 area that we've been talking about on the stream for a while. Look, the body of the hammer is literally pretty much right in the middle is 1580. So that is solidified as pretty major support. And just like Bitcoin's 21,000 handle, the Ethereum 1580 area is going to be again notched up for major support. Now we are right up against this trend line. We are bumping it today. We literally touched it right to the T on this on the wick, and we are attempting to break out over the mama too. We almost have an open and close. We'll need one more week for that to happen as well, just like on Bitcoins. Although you could kind of argue this is an open and close above the mama. It's like right here. That's probably splitting hairs, but it still just solidifies that 21,000 handle area. Very, very nice. Let's go see if we got the gap on Ethereum futures. I'm sure we do. Yes, we do. Filled the gap from over here and take off. So maybe that's the biggest concern as we come back and have to fill this gap at some point. But, there's no timing on gap fills. It could fill within, a month or two like it did here, or it could take a year. So you never really know on the gaps, but they do generally get filled. Let's go see if Litecoin and other stuff, how it's playing ball. See, so Litecoin doesn't look near as good on the weekly. No hammers, nothing like that. Actually, this is a pretty nasty weekly candle, to be fair, taking out both EMAs. So it's kind of solidifying that 88 bucks, upper 80s is pretty good resistance. It is defending here though at the breakout zone, the previous little breakout zone. So that's pretty good. So between 72 and like 88 or so, it's all right. And we can probably also just use the number we've been talking about for a while, is like that 91 area. Until it's back above 91, you got to question the strength a little bit on the bulls. But with Bitcoin pumping like it is, and Ethereum, that could transpire very quickly to these altcoins that aren't running yet. I mean, I know they're running a little bit, but relatively speaking, they might be like structure wise. They could be running super hard if Bitcoin just cracks 25K, man. Get ready for some moonshots, boy. Let's see. Yeah, this looks kind of a little hammer. It's a little ugly. But hey, it's technically a higher low. We just don't have any higher highs. We're actually very far away from one. We don't even have one at 25, so not too great there. Again, a lot of these altcoin, shitcoin charts are going to look the same. So I think really just watching Mama Bear and seeing if it can crack 25K this week is going to be really important. What does it hit today? 24,618. So 24,618. We were just shy of it. See what the bulls can do. And man, you could probably even use like a 4-hour candle, getting open and close above the 4-hour. I'm sorry, above the 25 on a 4-hour would probably usher in some of those moves too, just because we haven't really done that so far. Anyway, back to kind of the point on the shit coins. If that does happen, we start getting the crack of 25. You can pretty much bet your ass that a lot of these altcoins are going to shoot the F up, man. Let's see. Man, y'all probably already know that, but, I'm just kind of, sharing my thoughts. Man, we still haven't had the big move yet of the vol flashes up here. We talked about that in the stream on, I guess it was probably Monday's stream last week. So go check that one out if you want to hear some in-depth stuff about the historical volatility flashes. Very, very important signal, but we have not got a move from there yet. So this is really setting up for a gigantic move, man. And really it's hard to say on the direction at this point, but I mean, you're talking probably at least to 50 cents or at least to like 28 cents from where it is now. Let's see, XLM pumping pretty good. Weekly does have a little hammer, but this is below the 21, so it doesn't really look super sexy. It actually looks kind of meh. Looks a little shitty. But yeah, just coming up to test over here. Probably most of these are going to be waiting on Mama Bear to tell them something. Beautiful move on Tron. You get this little kind of, it's hammer-esque, but this next candle is really nice, engulfing the previous one and right off this trend line in this previous consolidation and taking off. Let's see if it got the weekly hammer. It did. Wow, this weekly hammer actually went all the way back above both moving averages. Damn, this actually looks pretty damn sexy above like 6.3-ish cents, like lower sixes. Not too shabby, man. Very nice reaction by the bulls. The only thing that will probably destroy some of these really nice candle setups is if this contagion gets like super bad. I mean, Schwab, like a major brokerage that just bought Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade, I mean, they're down like really big. So if this grows a little bit, let's go look at them real quick. Yeah, you can look at this shit. I mean, it is trying to put a hammer in today, but pretty nasty move, 24% last week. And this is one of the largest brokers in the country. So if the contagion does spread like a little bit more and faster than we think, then we can probably look for lower prices on some stuff. But I'm really just watching. I don't want to think about it too much because it's like there's so much shit going on. And that's why I love price action because I can just look at a number and I can pretty much know off of that number. Like Bernard Baruch used to say, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, which I think is very, very accurate. Usually, because you kind of know the news cycles. Even if you don't read it, you got friends. I mean, it's pumped around all the time. And so you kind of can apply news after you see the price, you know. And so if Bitcoin broke back below 21K, you know, something is afoot. Maybe Coinbase is getting messed up. Tether could be getting hit by some of this liquidity problems or whatever. But that's why I just like to kind of stick with the price action. It just makes it so much more simple, so much more easy to read, and way less stressful too, you know? All right. Yeah. Tron looks very nice above the low sixes, the low 6 cent handle. And open and close, you can see it's just getting worked by the mama right now, by the magical mama. Once we get back above about 7 pennies, let's use 69 because that's a cool number. Once it gets over 69 cents, or 6.9 cents, sorry, we can start looking for this blue box target to be hit. Conversely, though, if it does go to the downside below, you know, the low sixes, we can look for like low fives pretty easy. Pretty much where this tail went on that candle. Dot, what are you doing? Nothing. Put in a little hammer, rallying up to the bottom. So, yeah, some of these altcoins not looking too sexy. I mean, not a surprise, though. Most of them have looked like shit for over a year. So, shocker, right? Link just still chilling. Link is literally coming up in like a month and a half. It'll be a year in this 5.5 to 8.5 range. Yay. Came close to the bottom or back in the middle. Nothing really to do there. EOS. Hey, this is a great candle right here. I like this candle a lot. It's engulfed this previous attempt by the bears to break below structure. They did get rejected so far. So I do actually like this above $1. EOS looks pretty decent above $1 off of the structure. On the daily, the weekly's a little bit worse because of this one, but still kind of sharing that dollar level. And you know, if Bitcoin starts getting above 25K, this thing will most likely go at least test 120, 130. BCH, look at that. Very nice. Off the low hundreds coming up, kind of looking like most of the other coins. There's about 3 different chart patterns that we're seeing in crypto. And this is definitely one of the 3. I do like this hammer candle, even though it didn't get above 21. It is right above the flat mama, which, you know, is offset into the future. And you can see when it starts going flat, it's not sloped down anymore. So that is an actual attempt by bulls to change the momo, or momentum, if you will. So not too bad. Let's see. It looks okay above about $1.10, $1.10ish. Still looks okay. Maybe even ratchet that up to like $1.17. That's probably splitting hairs, but let's see here. BSV actually bouncing off of the 32, still into the abyss. This chart has looked like absolute garbage for a long time. After this engulfing candle, taking out every moving average that matters, and it's just been dead ever since then, pretty much. That's all the way 2 years ago at this point. Almost 2 years ago, this has looked like garbage. Man, it's kind of crazy to think that we've been kind of bearish for pretty much since that time. You know, I know we had this little fake out move, but which was pretty obviously a fake out move. I don't know if obvious might be strong word, but I definitely was feeling fake out. I do have videos from all that time too, if you want to go back and look at my historical thoughts, if you will. But yeah, wow. Let's see. BSV, yeah, I mean this is kind of shitty. It's a tough one. Someday it will rally and get above this box. Someday. That'll probably happen when Bitcoin gets like to upper 20s. It's probably going to take a lot more momentum on Bitcoin to do that. To be fair, this candle right here is okay. This low 30s is the bulls are attempting to put a base here, but they still got a lot of work to do. XMR, let's see, what are you doing, Monero? The fluffy pone, what is he doing? Higher highs. I'm sorry, higher lows. We got a higher high. This actually could look pretty sexy right here. Look, right on the 200, right on the mama, just below the shorter term moving averages. Let's see here. Yeah, the weekly is a lot easier to read on this. I would say above that upper 140s is okay, but just like we've talked about before, this kind of broke down and sold off. Sub 155, it's kind of tough to get like uber bullish on this. So it is kind of in this really tight $5-6 range. So kind of easy play though. Once it gets above or below that range, it's probably going to get some Momo to that side. So pretty easy peasy there. Wow, Zcash, man, poor Zcash. Trying to put in a base here. It's probably okay above like $32. Man, and it's well, shit, look at this. If we kind of go back looking left, whoops. If we look left here, we got this horizontal. It actually went right to it. And I'm drawing this by just like taking this little low, and it splits all these lows and these lows. And just kind of the most good touches I can get off of that. And you can see it actually went almost right to it. So that's pretty good. So above that 30-ish area, it looks all right. Shorter term time frames, though, if we started losing 32 half, I'd be a little bit concerned on Zcash. Surprised it's so much in the shitter. Dash is okay above about 48. It's okay. Everything's probably watching Mama Bear right now. Lots of bounces off the 200 dailies. Pretty long tail, long wick doji here. It did close perfectly even. Actually, technically, it's like slightly higher low. I mean, so that's technically a higher low on that, although just barely. Some funky ass candles on Doge. Look at that horizontal at 666. That's the number we've been looking for a while. And on the money, man, it literally, the body's closed on that shit and it bounced right off of there. That voodoo tea leaf crap sometimes does work. You just have to listen. That's a hard thing to do for us humans too, is listen. We always think we're smarter and better than everybody else. That's the thing I always tell people that want to share strategies. It's like, oh, I can't share my strategy, dude. Well, first of all, it probably doesn't even make that good of money. And second of all, even if you told 100 people your strategy, let's just for simple representation purposes, it's like, oh, you buy X stock at $100 and you sell it at 105 and you stop out at 95, and you told like 100 people that, and that's your super amazing winning strategy. Dude, like almost no one would do that exact same trade. Like a small percent would, but I bet 80-90% of people would tweak it and think they're better or smarter, or do 103 or stop out at 98 or whatever. It's just kind of funny. Like, you don't have to worry about people stealing your amazing strategy. Think of it like a recipe too. Is probably a better analogy. You give a recipe and everybody tweaks it a little bit. They add a little bit more pepper or less salt or whatever. So you don't really have to worry about that crap. STX, wow, what a move from 52 cents. That's a hell of a move on FTX. Whoa, hold on, not FTX. No, that one's in the shitter. But STX, very nice move. This is some ordinal stuff with Bitcoin and blah, 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 that hit that dollar area, mega resistance. But this candle, man, this is a pretty sexy candle that closed for the weekly. Bulls really defending that sell-off very well. I would say this looks pretty damn good. Get out of here. At about 69 cents. I don't get it, man. About 69 cents. This looks pretty damn good. Below there, I'd start to question the bull strength. And we probably are at about a 618 here. Yeah, we're right at it. So probably a little resistance here. But as long as this bitch is holding above 69 pennies, looks pretty good. And of course, above $1, it goes into suck it mode for the bears, and we probably could look for like $1.25 to like $1.60 ish is what I would look for on that. All right, Hexingtons. What are the Hexingtons doing? Coming breaking back out. Doji reversal, follow through, pretty nice. This actually looks good again, above 7 pennies. Can't be mad at Richard Hart there. Beautiful candle on this. Man, I mean, some of these charts actually do look pretty damn sexy, man. I think they're all really waiting for Bitcoin Mama Bear to give them the go ahead, which is the equivalent of being above 25K. Then we might see just massive rallies, man. Like, if there was one time to repair and get your shit together and get your plans right and all that kind of crap to like make some monies and tendy it up to change maybe your situation, this year is probably very likely that year to do that. Oh, I've been hiding my. Can I explain how XRP isn't or is a shit coin? What's going on, Quantify Crypto? Sorry, I had my my live chat blocked. Can I explain how XRP is a shit coin? Well, I'll tell you how I define a shit coin, and I'm not like a Bitcoin maximalist really, but I would say that pretty much anything except for Bitcoin is kind of a shit coin. That's just kind of the name for all coins. I think a lot of people use them interchangeably. Um, I actually loved as a trade. I actually liked Ripple way back in the day when no one liked it because they're like, oh, banker coin and this and that. And I was like, well, yeah, that's going to be part of the market though. Like, Swift replacements and shit like that. It's like there's a little area for everyone, and just everyone hated Ripple and still does. It's like that or Bitcoin Cash and Roger Ver are probably some of the most hated projects over the crypto history. But I would say it's just a shit coin because it's not Bitcoin. And you could get deeper on the fundamentals of XRP if you really wanted, because you don't really need it to transact and on their platform and all that kind of shit or whatever. But I mean, crypto is like a new thing, and sometimes traditional fundamentals just don't matter. Like Dogecoin is a really good example. It has pretty much an unlimited supply cap, and by any supply demand metrics and traditional shit of financials and economics and trying to project price action on that, it's only gone up. Like it should be kind of dying because it's so inflationary, but the market says we don't really care about that. It's the memes for life, bruv. And it just keeps going up. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting that Doge has been able to do that. But, you just that's why watching the price is better than projecting like your feelings onto assets. Like Ripple was one of the best performing coins in most of the bull runs that we've had going back to 2014. 13. I mean, it's performed very well, but people still hate it. I'm indifferent. I like to trade shit that trades and has good volume and has potential to make me money. I don't care. I don't get married to stocks or crypto they're just trades to me because anything can happen, man. Look at SVB, right? Some bank that my buddy who's a VC guy and has invested in so many tech startups, including Uber and all kinds of shit. Like he never thought that they would go under. So you just never freaking know, man. Let's see. Well, what's up, Mr. Hellbound? Good to see you again, sir or ma'am or whatever. I'm wondering about the 458 time frame you just showed us. For what, on Bitcoin, or what are you talking about? Elaborate on that a little bit. Are you like wondering, like you're concerned? Are you wondering why I picked that one? Like, give me a little bit more deets on that, por favor. All right, where do we leave off? Hex. Oh yeah, H&T. Let's go to H&T because we just left off Hex. Yeah, this is okay. Kind of just rallying up to the breakdown zone. So not really super sexy there. Yeah, this chart doesn't look great. VeChain coming up back into the area. So if bulls can actually defend 2.2 pennies, this might start building out some decent structure. But that's probably pushing it a little bit. Adam, kind of, yeah, here's this same pattern, the last three we've picked. So it's like either this pattern, the pattern of getting back above the highs, or just way on the lows below the 21 weekly still. That's pretty much every single chart right now. Just looking off this alone, off the daily, off of a daily trading time frame above $11, it looks okay, but you definitely do have a lot of resistance up here at around 12, like low 12s. So, all right, Osmos. What is Osmos doing? Osmosis, Cosmos. I can't remember if Atom or the other one is Cosmos. Oh no, Atom is Cosmos. Osmosis is a different one. Is this a or N? Let's use my right English here. Is this an ascending triangle? Could you argue that this is ascending triangle? Let's see. Let's kind of draw it out. Yeah, it's close. That's kind of like, I mean, that's pretty close. I mean, yeah, you could draw it like this a little or whatever. But I would say that this is an ascending triangle. And as long as it's riding this trend line here, this actually looks pretty good above like the 10 handle. Not too shabby. Oh, morning. Why for isn't it is close to the 8-hour chart. It's pretty much an 8-hour chart, really. It's like 6 or 7.5, like almost. Then that's what I use. Tell people just use the 8-hour. So the 850 and the 458, I had made those using some fib strategy that I was trading a couple years ago with some other assets, and they worked really well on there. And I found that it just stuck as a good low-term time frame chart for me on crypto, and so I kind of just left it up there. But yeah, most definitely you could just use the 8-hour. I mean, if we take the 458, oh, excuse me, and you look at it like that, and we just jump over to the 8-hour, I mean, it looks almost the same. I guess it is slightly different, but you can see, kind of get some extra candles here. If you don't have the paid subscriptions to TradingView, you won't be able to do a custom time frame. But I've just found that the 458 is just a really good time frame for like the lowest of that I like to look at on spot price for crypto. I don't like to look at 1-hour charts and 30-minute charts and 2-hour charts on crypto. It trades all day. So like that's way too much noise for me. Of course, everyone trades different. You might be a scalper or whatever, and you can use the 3-hour and make good money. All power to you. That's fine. I mean, there's so many ways to skin the market cap, but for me personally, I don't want to look at the chart that much during the day. And the 458 I found is just kind of like a nice, like medium low time frame to check out. All right, let's see. Ton. Ton is, what is Ton doing? Bouncing off this trend line. Very nice. Another higher low. All it needs is a higher high. It's got an ugly, sloppy, attempted ascending triangle kind of on it. I don't know. This is a very different type of pattern. Maybe we could just use the weekly and call it a range. Most definitely. And man, another nice little higher high. Higher low. Right on the trend line. So as long as this bitch is riding the trend line, there's no reason to really hate this. And it's kind of in, buy dips modes to the trend line until it breaks. Very nice. Oh, he wants to look at Radix, his favorite. You always come in here and want to look at Radix. Is that like your main thing? This little shit coin? Let's go look at this shit coin. XRD. No, there's not enough data on that. I thought KuCoin had more data on that. Oh, let's try something else. Bitfinex. Does Bitfinex have some decent? Okay, Bitfinex has. All right, nice. All right, so Bitfinex has actually. Wait, is this the same? Yeah, okay, this is the same one. Radix, it's okay. This is interesting. Lots of volume on today's candle. It's not really going anywhere though. Very notable volume though. The most that we've seen since all of this cluster F. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean I don't know, man. It's okay. It's not the best looking chart. I mean, I guess it's all right above like 3.5 cents. It's okay. I'm interested to see how this volume is going to play out in this candle. If we get any follow through to the upside, or if this is just some people exiting Radix token here, because this bitch be moving, man. Was that 56 down, 30 down, or sorry, 56 up, 30 down, 80 up, 40 something down. Yeah. Yeah, I mean 3.5 cents. As long as it's above like 3.5 cents, it's okay. It's okay. And just kind of interesting volume here. If we zoom in a tad, yeah, about the same area, about 3.6 pennies. So it's okay above 3.6 pennies. Really going to need Bitcoin to get above 25K. There is a lot of resistance at 42 or 4.2 cents. Of course there is. At 4.2 cents. So like 3.5 to what, let's just call it 4.5. That's easy to remember. It's like the range. Until it gets out of there, it's kind of just a range trade. All right, let's go to traditionals. What are they doing? They're going to zero. It's over. The market's over. Don't trade anything anymore. Put all your money in a mattress. Man, look at this candle. This is a tight doji. If it closed like this, we still do have 3 hours. But interesting. This still could be a higher low, which is kind of interesting. This trend line cross, that 3,900 area is the line in the sand. We closed like pretty much right on it on Friday. Of course, we had a little bit of follow through with the overnight session and in the morning, but now bulls are trying to semi-defend it. Let's look at the 7-minute. I like to look at this for just intraday stuff. Yeah, you can see this bitch is just 2% up, down every freaking hour. Nasty. 2 o'clock dump fest. Man, 100 points. Let's go to the 3 hour. Nothing really there on the 3 hour. Yeah, I mean, really using we don't have quite enough candles yet, I don't think. The 3,900 is the best number for this at the moment until we get probably through the week to see kind of how the chart builds up a little bit. But yeah, you can see on the volume down here, we are getting increasing volume every other day, it looks like. So on Tuesday, we had mad volume. On Thursday, we had mad volume. And now Monday, we're getting some mad volume. And it's steadily increasing. So that's a little, that could be concerning. That could be concerning if volume is increasing with downside pressure. Again, closing below 3,900 would be really disgusting for the bulls, and probably need that on a daily. I was just looking at the 3 hour. You can already see we're trying to camp out here below 39 for like one candle, and it did get rejected. So even low time frames actually are supporting 3,900. So as long as we're above 3,900 bucks, and we can use a 3 hour candle now that I kind of assess this a little bit more, we get another open and close 3 hour below 39. I probably would look for testing. Man, that really does open the doors to like 37 and change. So pretty interesting there. NASDAQ still able to hold up here. This is very interesting. Look at this. Bears couldn't even get it below that 12K area. Pretty much right on it. I mean, yes, it's 11,925. The close was 11,969. Look at that meme power even in normie markets. Of course. I know 11,969. Close is close enough. We're not going to split hairs over 30 points. It's not that exact of a science. But we are still trapped in the range. I mean, look at this. With all that turmoil, and we're still defending 12,000 so far. And just like Ethereum's, just like S&P's 3,900, 12,000 is that number for NASDAQ. So if we get another open and close on the 3 hour, then I would start to look for some downside pressure to accelerate. Right now, though, we did have a pretty nice 3 hour close here. obviously defending in that 12K region. So we can use that 3 hour right now. And as long as it's not open and closed below 12K, you don't have to worry too much. I'll be watching that like a hawk, that's for sure. And we do have a little trend line right there too. Let's go to the Dow. The Dow. Oh, Dojian on the 200. Look at this. This Doji is almost the entire range down here, 1,000 point range roughly. Lots of volume picking up. It has a lot of buy volume. It's green so far. Man, this one's a little bit harder of a read because we're right smack in the middle of the range. I would say as long as the 3 hour, what is this right here at about 32 flat? Let's see what we did at 32. Okay, yeah. So as long as we're holding about 32,000 on the 3 hour, it's okay. But on the larger time frames, it really has to just break this 32.7 and 31.5 area because we're just in this huge fat range right now. And even this doji candle is solidifying that with the tail and the wick pretty much encompassing that entire range. So pretty one of the harder ones to kind of read there. Look at this, mid 17s are horizontal, catching the price for now. Let's look at the 3. Look at that. Wow. Right to the freaking T of our horizontal in the mid 1700s. This is a good, this is actually a good setup here. The bulls are defending this. So, like the 12,000 area on NASDAQ and the 3,900 area on ES, this 1742 or 40 ish area is that number for Russell. And we actually do have 3 stabs of bullish divergence starting from here to here to here. So usually on 3, you do get a counter trend rally. So I would not be surprised to see this test 1800 maybe this week at some time. That doesn't mean we're out of the woods. We would need the weekly to look better for that, the weekly does need a lot of work, to be fair. We need an open and close back above about 1840 pretty much on the weekly. Dow Jones. Tranny index, oh god, it's back below. This actually looks pretty bad. This is very concerning below 14.2. Just kind of like how the Dow looks a little bit worse, right, than the other stuff. This is confirming the Dow's kind of weaker side, but look where it is, right here on the trend line cross. So bulls defending it so far today, but maybe just kind of watch this range between upper 13s and that 14.2. So about 500-point range from current price action. Uh-oh. Damn it. Brutal close here. Or candle. It's not quite closed yet, but brutal candle here for the DAX futures. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, we have officially broke the trend. This looks a little bit heavy below like 15.2, but it is barely caught right here at this little consolidation structure. So, man, above 15K, we can probably use that as the 12K and the 3,900 and the 1740-ish area for all of those. VIX, of course, we already talked about that, pumping off the trend line. We already touched on VVIX. As long as it's above 100, you do have to watch out a little bit for outlier events. Once it gets back below 100, you can probably look for a really mean rally. Let's see. Oil kind of dumping. Kind of just chilling, though, in the range still. It's still a higher low so far. Really got to defend the 73.85 area. Give me 1 second real quick. Bear with me. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. All right, sorry about that. I had to get a little sip of some agua. My mouth was getting dry. All right, where were we here? Oil, yes. Oil, it is technically a higher low, but this is super range bound at this point. I mean, it's such an incremental higher low. We can pretty much box this up with apparently with the black box of death. Let's change the color here. No. So here's our little blue box. So as long as it's kind of in this range, it's just ping pong. And once it breaks out either side, then we can look for probably an equal box measurement. So you can kind of just stack the box on it or put it below. And that would pretty much be the target from there. So we're probably looking at, 90-ish bucks or down at like mid 60s once it finally breaks this range. But it has just definitely been consolidating for a hot minute here. You can see on the weekly Ping Pong Fest 3000. Nat Gas, what are you doing, Nat Gas? All right, Nat Gas. Whoops. Nat Gas. This is an okay candle right here. That closed for Monday already. It has different times than the other futures. So that's actually a decent candle, solidifying that 260-ish area that we've been mentioning that the bulls need to defend to keep this Momo up. Yeah, weekly's didn't really give us anything new here. Kind of a little bit of engulfing, so probably a little bit of upside pressure. But as long as it's holding that like 255, 260 area, it looks all right. Bonds, woo, hello. Holy smokes, man. A little fake breakdown, engulfing candle, and it said suck it. We're rallying almost to new local highs here. Interesting. We are attempting the mama right now and in a weekly possible close above 131, which is that. Okay. All right. I kind of like that for the bonds. That's nice for the bond bulls. We're seeing that in the 10-year too. I guess this is anticipation. Probably people are like, oh, the Fed's definitely not going to hike now. Man, if they hike next week after all this information, oh man, dude. That's going to really show their hand. And in one of the interviews, one of my friends sent me with Jerome Powell, with JP, that boy JP, they kept asking him questions, and he just had the look on his face like, yeah, dude, we're hiking. I don't really care what you ask me. We're going to be hiking rates, boy. Okay, so get ready. I don't know, but this is markets, I guess, assuming that maybe they're going to back off with some of the shit that's been happening. You can see triple leverage, TMF pumping real hard. TNX actually getting demolished. Obviously, when it gets below, when it got below that 380 area, the bulls are out, and then we're actually even way below the 370 pivot area on two double gaps. Though, look at this double gapage. Boom, bam. That's pretty rare. You don't see that a lot. So, man, are we going to double gap fill? I don't know, man. This is the next week and a half is going to be a doozy, man. Really doozy. Be on your toes. Be vigilant right now. Dollar said Doji right underneath, right underneath the trend line. Follow through, and we're getting sell pressure all the way down to 1035. It did look really good building this little structure here. But when push came to shove for bulls to actually break above that 106 area, they failed so far. They could be retesting this to see if it's formidable support now. But it is just one candle, and we are going to need quite a bit more. What the hell is that in the background? Sometimes see shit. It's a box or something. What do I got back here? Oh God. What is this box? Why do I have this box on here? I draw stuff for a reason usually. Oh yeah, it's just this giant consolidation pattern. Well, yeah, when you actually look at it like this, it's almost like breaking out of this giant, 7-8 year consolidation pattern, and it's just retesting the breakout zone. Interesting. Maybe we should kind of keep that a little bit brighter so we can see. So maybe this is just a little retest. Back below like 102.50. It looks pretty shitty. All right, gold and silver, man. Let's go. Look at this. Pampage. Very nice. Getting back above 1890-ish. That is a critical resistance point. We were talking about this candle last week. If it closed like this, it would look very sexy, which we actually did get that hammer. Very beautiful little candle there. So we're getting follow through now too. So what do we need to see to really get this excited? I would say an open and close on a daily above 1890. So you can see we're a little bit below here at like 1875. If we can get the whole body above this area and this horizontal and really above this mama too, we can call it 1900 if you want to be a little conservative. If we get an open and close on a daily candle above 1900-ish, that would look very sexy. And of course, the weekly, if it could transpire up into the weekly, that would also be double super sexy. And if that did happen, I would be looking for a test of at least 2K on gold. And silver rallying hard today. It's up, what is it, like 6%? Almost 7%. Pretty sexy move for silver. Let's see. Let's go to the 3-hour. Very, very nice silver bulls. Good job for them today. I did get put shares of SLV when I was selling puts and through here. I took all those off today because they are the shares that I had because it was all up and coming up to this major resistance up to about $22 to $22.50. I'm not sure if this is going to get follow through, so I decided to just lose those. Take the small gain that I got after getting put the shares and just kind of wait and assess to make sure that this isn't just some fake out move. And given just what has happened over the last 3 days and then the Fed meeting coming up here next Wednesday, I just want to kind of be a little bit cautious. And, and that's been kind of the MO of this market now. You don't have to hold stuff too long. You can kind of get in and out and do pretty decent percent gains. And then a lot of times if you just get out and wait, the price will come back and you can re-enter and then do it again. So this is definitely a trader's market. We're getting lots of whipsaws up and down. So that is kind of nice. And so that's why I've kind of switched to, if we get to upper resistance bands and stuff, I'm not going to hold and hope that it breaks through there. Hope is not a strategy to make money on. It does not work that way. I've lost a lot of money thinking that hope is going to make me money. I'll tell you that much. So just be careful with that. Of course, everybody's experience is different. Blah, 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 whatever. Platinum. Let's go, baby. Coming up here, breaking out. 1950 is that area. We had a little consolidation in the 900 to 9. Sorry, not 1950. 9 to 950. And we're back above this pivot point. Trend line, all this structure. If we stay above like 970, this is building to be a very nice chart. But again, it's just one day. We do need a little bit more confirmation that the bulls got this. Major resistance at about 1,010, 1,040, something like that. So, but overall, looking pretty good. Palladium is actually rallying. Look, it doesn't really rally. It mostly just sells off the last year or so. But we're actually getting a little bit of pump too. Looks like metals and with the bonds doing that, the dollar dumping hard, that's carrying over to the metals. GDX gapping hard. Man, let's look at the weekly on that. Man, consolidation in the saucer of the mama. Pretty nice. Really needs to get back above like $30 though to get kind of excited. Another reason why I took that silver off earlier today, just because I'll probably get a chance to buy that again. And even if I don't, whatever, still made money on it. So big deal. There's opportunity is infinite, man. Capital is finite. Don't ever forget that. It's very important. All right, I think that's it. Let's just jump around a little bit and see what let's see what our coin ETF, not ETF, but our coin index is doing. Yeah, it looks like all the shit coins rallying up to previous breakdown structure. So right to the 200, lots of resistance here at about 260. Really want to see this get over 260 and Bitcoin over 25K. And I would start to get pretty erect bull boners off of that. Oh, nice bounce off of, man, I almost bought some of that on Friday, but I chickened out. Would have been a good trade. You can't catch them all. This isn't Pokemon. Let's see what Coinbase is doing. Coinbase, my money's locked up. Hey, we're rallying. It's fine. It's fine. There's no problems here. It's Coinbase. T0 even sent me an email saying, oh, yeah, we're kind of looking for a new bank now. We had a bunch of money at Silicon and Signature. Ooh, shit. Oops. Let's go look at the majors. Apple's pumping. Amazon is pumping a little bit. Microsoft, man, Microsoft gets back over 260. That's a retest, a breakout zone of this consolidation right here for probably continuation to at least 273-ish. Interesting. Netflix, yeah, it's okay. Still making higher lows so far. All right, nothing really there. I want to look at some bondage stuff. Man, the corporate bond sector is just still getting destroyed, man. Yeah, which I like to use HYG and junk, the high yields, aka junk bonds. Yeah, pretty. Yeah, it looks pretty gross. It looks pretty gross. All right, what else do we want to look at? I think that's probably it. Just kind of fanning through a couple things here. We're at the end, you know what I'm saying? That's the last stretch. If you want me to look at something, type it in the troll box now or forever hold your ticker. So I will be wrapping this biatch up very, very soon. Oh, you know what? What did Hecla do today? Pamping. Pamping. I had a little bit of that too, but it didn't go up as much as silver, which is kind of funny. I expected this to be up over 10%, but the TA and resistance and price structure is providing the resistance. All right, I think that's it. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up with my final thoughts here. Bitcoin looking pretty damn good. Is this going to be another Cypress thing where people are like, wait, stable coins suck and there's lots of counterparty risk? What? Who would have thought that? Let's not hold a bunch of stable coins. We don't know how far these tentacles reach. If they go into Tether, if they go into other things and will cause solvency issues, we don't know. And you might not think that a bank that's 300 billion, when it's like a tenth of the size of Goldman Sachs or whatever, J.P. Morgan is even bigger, then it's like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But when you're leveraged up so much, like these banks are and tend to be, that matters, man. A little bit of cash issues can really f your company up. And we all know crypto loves to do extra leverage, 100x and degenerate shit like that. So, please don't ever trade 100x. Don't listen to me, really, whatever. I'm just some jackass on the interwebs, but man, 100x is so, so dangerous. But yeah, that extra super leverage, man, can really bite you in the arse. And so we just aren't really sure yet the contagion effects that are going to happen with some of this bank action. And you know what? That's why I like to stick to price action. Even if you didn't even know anything about the news, this was still an area of retesting support as long as it was staying above like 18, 19,000. It was fine. So even with no news or nothing, it still held up. And this is an argument I have with a lot of my buddies that are super fundamentally driven or whatever. And that's fine, whatever. If they make money, that's great. But it's good to debate too, right? Helps you learn about flaws that you have, or maybe helps them learn too. Just helps everybody get a little bit better. So it's good to chat that shit out about the fundies. And, you know, back in the history, oh yeah, my point of that was there's technical damage done before almost every major crash. You know, everybody thinks that like, oh, what? This SVB thing, that's crazy. How could that happen? You know, what? Look at this chart, dude. It's looked like total ass since January of 20, pretty much the first of the year last year. Got below its moving averages, and then it got to total ass, losing the weekly 200. That's super terrible, and it was just kept selling off. I mean, there is already some major problems. I mean, look at this. In October of last year, it did 27% in a week. So it's not like there's a lot of signs that something was broken over at SVB. So the technicals, again, will reign supreme because this is every single person. This represents the entire world that's trading this asset. No matter which one you pick, it doesn't matter. You know, not SVB specifically. But any chart you pull up, it's the entire planet's psychological makeup, every piece of fundamental data, everything is applied into this chart. So just don't forget that. I think it's very important. Most volume by a long shot, though, on this week here. Even more so than the 2008 debacle. Look at this shit. Wowza. Dwarfing every candle before it by a large margin. So you might even be like, well, what about on SPX? Let's just give another example. You're like, well, oops. And let's take off some of these drawings. You're like, well, what about when we rolled over in the 08 crash? Okay, what about it? Let's go look. Here we are, losing structure right here. We go sideways. We make a weak-ass attempt with nasty rejection, and then no attempts after that to get back above here against the local high. And then we get underneath all this business right here. We do an open and close below all of this, all the moving averages, the shorter ones, not the 200, but all the shorter term moving averages on a weekly. And then we consolidate on the lows for over, I mean, what is this? Freaking, for half a year, we consolidate on the lows without even getting back up into the top end of range. Well before all the carnage happened. I mean, look at this. You just have to listen to the price, man. I'm just trying to give examples. People think TA is voodoo, but most definitely is not. Most definitely is not. The problem is you just have to listen to what the price is telling you. And, you know, as us humans and our stubbornness, we like to be like, oh, no, bro, it's fine. Well, it's like, okay, well, maybe it does consolidate here. But when you lose the 200 and start opening and closing below range and you can't get above it, the bulls can't get above it, and you have slopes, everything down now, like, you know, if you're still bullish and think everything can be amazing off of that, then, then I don't know what to tell you. But, you know, that's how some people are. It's all good. But just to reiterate that there is warning signals every single time before every crash. And the Big Short, Christian Bale's character, Michael Burry, talks about that when he gets into a little argument with his boss, the guy that that owns the firm or whatever, and saying, you know, there's always markers. He's like, oh, it's rock solid. It's the best, whatever, the mortgage thing, when he tells him he wants to short the housing market. And, you know, he's like, that's stupid, you know. I think his name is Lawrence or something. He's like, that's stupid. He's like, dude, there's always markers. And there always are markers. Every single time. Even with Black Monday, there's markers. So it's been like that pretty much forever. Like, I think we can even go back to crazy times, like when the chart of S&P looks like a shit coin. You know? Let's see. If we do it like that, it's probably going to shoot me back. Well, you can do something like Alt-G, I think or is it Control-G? Oh, it's not Control-G. Alt-G. Oh, they changed it. What is it now? There used to be like a Alt-G you could do, and it would be like a go-to. like go to this price in time. That sucks. So I'm not going to scroll all the way back, but you get the point. There's always markers, man. There is always markers. Wrapping up the thoughts. Let's go. So I want to look at the market and watch price at for the close here after lunch. So Bitcoin, get above 25K, man. It's going to look real sexy. This might be some kind of Cyprus bank run type pump. You know, a lot of people scared of the stable coins, so they're getting out of stable coins, buying Bitcoin and Ethereum because those are the biggest ones by a large margin versus all the other shit coins. And so people are kind of going to a flight of safety in crypto, which would be actually holding the real coin instead of a stable coin that could potentially have lots of risks associated with it right now, over leverage problems, stuff like that. And plus, we don't even still know where Tether like keeps some of their money and shit. So that'll be the big one. If Tether is exposed to this and has some issues, that might cause some issues. But hey, you know, this could have like a weird reverse effect where that it actually makes Bitcoin break out. You know, like with the Cypress shit when they did haircuts and all that, Bitcoin like 10x'd or something on the initial kind of start of all that. So, and that's, you know, of course, it's all applying opinions and stuff to price action. And again, I'll always lean on price action. And what will tell me if that's the case, if we are having like a flight to safety to the actual coinage, then I'll see that when Bitcoin gets above 25,000. And then that'll pretty much solidify that. If not, and it gets back comfy below 21, I would start to question this as a little fake out rally. And I'd probably look for some, 18, 19 tests if we did lose 21 again. So just kind of watch that. Keep an eye on for that. 1580 is the same number we've been talking about for weeks on Ethereum. And 1680 is the same number for the upside that we've been talking about for the high end, which we actually tested 1700 flat today. And now we're just below 1680. So again, price dictating that range. One more again. Over here on ES and stuff, we're kind of dojiing out, technically higher lows still so far. But if we're just holding 3,900, 12,000, and 1740s on Russell, it's okay. Dow's the little bit different one. It's kind of just in a big range between about 31.5. Oh, where are my lines at? Between like 31.5-ish and 30. Well, it's actually 31.7 and 32.7. There we go. Keep it easy. And that's about it, y'all. I hope y'all have an awesome, super amazing Monday. It's a beautiful day over here in Texas. Gonna watch some price action and go do some stuff outside. Get the yard going because it's nice 70 degrees, perfect weather. You're very welcome, Mr. Hellbound Buick. I'm also out. Love you guys. Peace, and I will see y'all Wednesday morning.